All right, so we're diving deep today, folks. And we're looking at The Kingdom of Controversial Clarity. It's by Josh. He goes by Jack Kina.
Okay.
And let me tell you, this book, it's not your typical self-help, feel-good kind of thing. It's more like, how do I put it? It's like a manual for shifting your whole perspective.
Yeah.
Like a mind reboot. And he throws out these ideas, these analogies that they really make you stop and think.
Interesting. So what's one that...
One that really grabbed me, and trust me, they're alive. It's this line. Instead of dating someone to pay your rent, why not date the landlord?
Whoa. Okay. So,
I know, right? Sounds kind of crazy at first.
yeah, date the landlord. I mean...
But there's this deeper meaning, right? Like, he's not actually saying go out and find a landlord to date.
Right.
It's more about...
Right. It's got to be more about... I'm trying to think about the analogy here.
It's about thinking bigger, aiming higher.
Okay. Aiming higher. Yeah.
So what do you make of this whole landlord analogy? What's Jakina really getting at?
Well, what strikes me is how this analogy, even though it's funny.
Right. It's fine.
It's like, whoa, date the landlord. But it makes you think, right? It pushes you to think about, going for the source, the source of abundance instead of, just settling for like little bits and pieces.
So instead of just being focused on getting that rent money.
Exactly.
You're thinking, how do I become financially independent so I don't even have to worry about rent?
Yeah, you're looking at the cause, right? Like, what's the root cause of my money problems instead of just, like you said, that symptom needing the rent money.
It's like that saying about the tree in the forest. You get so caught up in picking fruit from one tree that you totally miss the whole forest.
Yeah.
All those other trees with even more fruit.
Exactly. And that's like a big theme in the book. Jack Kina also uses this analogy of it's like a hunter, right? And they're so focused on catching this one rabbit that they totally miss the whole herd that's just like running right by.
Ooh, yeah, I remember that one. The hunter and the herd. Man, I did that myself recently. Work project.
Oh, really?
Yeah, totally fixated on this one tiny detail.
Yeah.
I almost missed this huge opportunity to like improve the whole thing. So how do we avoid those hunter and the herd moments?
Well, it's about it's recognizing the difference, right, between thinking short term and having that long term vision. Like, let's say you're choosing a career. It's easy to just get stuck on like, okay, what's the starting salary?
Right, the rabbit.
Right, that's the rabbit. But the herd.
A herd is the bigger picture.
The herd is thinking about like, okay, what's the potential for growth? What's the company culture like? Does this work even like align with, my values? So maybe a smaller paycheck now leads to, way more fulfillment and even more money down the line.
It's about shifting our perspective, looking past that immediate game, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But this book, The Kingdom of Controversial Clarity, it doesn't stop there. It goes into this whole idea of like every problem having multiple solutions.
Right.
And there's that whole master key concept.
Yes. He argues that that challenges, they're not like roadblocks, they're like gateways to all these possibilities.
Gateways, yeah.
And the master key, he says, is our own insight. It's our ability to see past the obvious stuff and unlock solutions that, we might totally miss otherwise.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But how do we actually get that kind of insight? Like, it's not like we can just, snap our fingers and suddenly we're wise.
Well, that's where patience comes in.
Okay, patience.
This book, it really emphasizes slowing down, reflecting, and like connecting with that inner wisdom we all have.
So it's not about rushing.
No. It's like, imagine you're rushing through a forest. You might totally miss like a hidden path, right? Some little signs. But if you slow down and you pay attention, you might find a shortcut to like exactly where you need to be.
I love that. It's like those hidden object games, the ones where you gotta like really study the picture to find everything. You can't just glance at it and be like, boom, I win.
Right.
So we should be approaching life with that same kind of like mindful attention.
Absolutely. Yeah. Be present. But it goes even deeper than that, I think.
Deeper.
The Kingdom of Controversial Clarity, it encourages us to shift from like that what's in it for me thinking to a more holistic approach. It's like understanding that,
I can't think. Okay.
Like a forest, a healthy forest. It depends on all the parts, the trees, the soil, the animals, everything. And, our success long term it's connected to the well-being of our communities, our environment, even our future selves, right?
So it's not just seeing the whole forest. It's like understanding how everything's connected.
Exactly. It's realizing that like those individual gains,
Mm.
sometimes they come at the expense of the whole.
Mm-hmm.
And the kingdom of controversial clarity, it's like it challenges us to think about those consequences, the long-term consequences, to go for solutions that help everyone, not just ourselves.
Wow, this deep dive, it's been incredible. I'm walking away with like a whole new way of thinking about, problems and decisions and all that. Thanks so much for sharing your insights on this. And to all our listeners out there, thanks for joining us. We hope this has, sparked some new ideas for you
Yeah.
about cultivating that wider vision, looking beyond just, what's right in front of you. Remember, as Jackie Annette says, every challenge, it's an opportunity in disguise.
Right.
And before you go, one last thing to think about. Okay. How can you apply this whole tree versus the forest thinking to, I don't know, a challenge you're facing right now, something in your own life? We'd love to hear your thoughts. So until next time, keep exploring and keep diving deep.